Hi guys, it's Phil Mckernan, and today I want to talk about sometimes how blind we are in life, whether it's intentional or otherwise. And I want to just share a little story with you. And as I go through this video, you might think this is just a simple way of promoting my work or promoting the idea of getting a coach or getting a mentor or getting support. And in a way it is, not necessarily just about me, but about the power of actually having somebody who, and the one caveat here, is not connected to the outcome, emotionally or financially or physically connected. So your brother or your wife or your husband or whoever it happens to be. That the idea of having somebody who is not connected to the outcome, support and challenge and try to find something that you yourself can't see is critically important. But that means anybody, not just me, finding somebody that can do that for you, with you, or in conjunction with you. And the story I want to share with you is a guy called Padraig Harrington. He's a golfer. He's from Ireland. Through his own admission, was one of those kind of, I wouldn't say average golfers, anything but average, because he's a professional, but you know, he was one of those golfers that he was even heard saying in an interview, I wasn't a golfer destined for winning majors. I wasn't that guy. I just worked harder. I worked it. I wanted it more, type of thing. And one interview I watched with him was kind of like an obscure interview, and it was kind of off the beaten track, and I just came across it by accident one day. And the guy said, you know, what does it look like for Padraig Harrington to have a bad day? Or Paddy Harrington, as some people call it in North America. But what does it look like for Padraig to have a bad day? And he said, well, do you want to hear about one of my worst? And the interviewer said, yeah, I would. Give it to me. And he goes, the day when my golf swing was videoed at the age of 15 years old. And the guy's looking and said, well, how was that the worst day? And he goes, well, I'll tell you why it was the worst day. Is because in my mind, up to that point, in my mind, I thought I had a majestic golf swing. That was his words, majestic. And when I watched the video, I realized that actually it was anything but majestic. And no different than everybody else, he can probably be very harsh upon himself and very critical of his own golf swing, as a lot of us can be in our own lives. But what really struck me was this notion of not being able to see our own golf swings, our own behaviors, our own beliefs, our own patterns. And the things that either we don't want to see because we're trying to protect ourselves, or two is we're just so close to it we can't see it. Now, there's two rules of thought here. If he's none the wiser, just don't show him the video or don't video him at all. And he can head off into, and you know what, we're never going to know what the outcome of that was. We're never going to know whether, you know, he would have been a better golfer if he didn't know what his golf swing was like. We're never going to know. We can speculate. But one thing we do know is that Padraig went on to do something that very few of the golfers have done in the history of golf. He didn't just win a major. He didn't just win 2 majors. He won 3 majors. In 15 months, or approximately 15 months. In fact, Tiger Woods and himself, and maybe one other golfer in the last 100 years, are the only ones to win the British Open, the most coveted golf tournament, back to back. He did all that in about 15 months, which is an extraordinary feat, an extraordinary achievement. Now I just wonder, and you can speculate for yourself and you can decide, I just wonder if he did not see his golf swing at 15 years old, if he did not have that bubble burst, the realization that his golf swing was not quite as majestic, would he actually have ever won a major? Never mind 3 in a row, essentially, or 3 within 15 months. I don't know. You can decide. So I just wonder, what do you not see within your golf swing, within the realm of your life? What are you blind to? Because you know what? The amount of people I'm meeting are saying, I don't really need any help. Everything's fine there. I literally had a lady 2 days ago on the phone going, I was on the phone call to her. It was a small group phone call. It was like a coaching call. And she stopped me. She said, for the first 10 minutes of the call, I was sitting there going, everything's great in my life. Everything's fantastic. And it was just one story, one comment, one nuance. And she turned around and she goes, you know what? I realized that actually I'm really not enjoying my job. I'm not being fulfilled by my job. I'm trying to convince myself I am. So she can say she's lying to herself, hiding from her truth, whatever you want to call it. But she says, I know I need to do something about this. So how does that happen in 10 minutes? How does a guy who comes to an event with me recently say, my biggest challenge is strategies for my business. My biggest single business challenge is strategies. Turns out that it's anything but strategies. It's actually more about the fact that is he in the right business and some personal stuff that's going on for him. So how can that happen so fast? Is that I think sometimes we don't want to see it, or sometimes we're so close We're so close to the fire sort of thing. We just can't see ourselves. So I would highly recommend that you find somebody who is not connected to the outcome. Big caveat. If that's me, fantastic. If it's not me, find somebody that can support and challenge you to see the stuff that you can't see in your own golf swing. The golf swing being the analogy for your life. Thank you.